folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha and I do book things here. Today's video is gonna be me talking about how I failed NaNoWriMo. I tried, but I failed. So I wanted to come on and just sort of talk about my experience with NaNoWriMo, sort of what it meant to me, how I did it, how I failed, and just sort of, I guess, how I feel about it. Hopefully you guys are interested. I realize this may not be a video for everybody, especially on my channel, and a lot of you may not have even known that I attempted to write, or I attempt to write. This is going to be more of a chit-chatty video. I have my big ol' Starbucks here. If you guys are wondering what I drink a black tea lemonade with raspberry syrup. That's my cold drink of choice, since Starbucks discontinued Cool Lime. Go fuck yourself, Starbucks. Yeah, I just want to kind of like sit back, talk to you guys a little bit about NaNoWriMo. For those of you who are not aware, which I'm sure the majority of you are, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month in the month of November, and you are sort of expected to write 50,000 words, which equals out to around 1,700 words a day, and then at the end you have 50,000 words, you submit them to the website, you claim that you win NaNoWriMo, and you essentially have a short novel at that point. You can continue to work on that, or continue to work on that the following year, or all throughout the year to make like a full-length novel. But it's basically a way to have a lot of different authors, writers, sort of come together to help sort of push you through to get words out of you. It's not necessarily meant to be super structured or planned or clean. It's more of a way to just get words out. I was actually introduced to NaNoWriMo years ago, and I don't remember who first introduced it to me, but it was somewhere around, I want to say like nearly 8 years ago, maybe even longer ago. I have to double check that, but I was introduced to the idea of NaNoWriMo through, I'm positive, somebody's YouTube channel at that point, and I thought at the time the idea of writing 50,000 words in a month was just absolutely insane to me, and I realized that it is to a lot of people, and I think it honestly kind of still is to me, that like writing 50,000 words is a lot, especially coming out of high school where writing a 3,000 word paper was something that took me weeks. I am not a technical writer in terms of like essays or formatted kind of stuff. I can freeform write and just sort of like, again, kind of pour it out of me, but in terms of like different formats and making a concise essay, that was where I struggled as a writer. In high school, I did take a lot of creative writing classes, and my final year of high school, I opted to take like, I think it was like creative short story writing and stuff like that. I definitely selected a few more creative writing courses once I got into university as well, but it was never something that I claimed I was really good at. I'm not a person who spells well. I'm not a person who uses grammar well. I kind of sort of, I guess, equate that to my hearing loss. Just because even still I will be reading a book and I'll read a word, but if I've never heard it said, it's a way, I say it a way in my head that makes sense to me, sort of like phonetically. How I see it is how I say it, and so even as an adult there's a lot of times I'll be reading a book, I'll highlight something, and then I'll ask Jeff like, how do you actually say this word? Or I'll go and I'll whatever. Anyway, it basically means I suck at spelling, I suck at grammar, and yeah, but that being said, I like writing, and I have ideas, and I'm a creative person, and I have a lot of ideas, and I've lived an interesting life to where I want to write about certain things that I've experienced. That's sort of where my writing comes out, I guess, or my inspiration comes, is the fact that I'm a natural storyteller. So anyone who really knows me well knows that if you're ever with me and I stop telling stories, I'm sick or something's wrong, because I don't shut up. Basically, once I start talking, I'm constantly telling stories, and I sort of remember life in a very photographic way. I have a photographic mind and I have a memory-making mind, so what that means is I literally can remember like a very specific day in grade 3 where this happened, and I can remember waking up, getting dressed, what I wore, what I ate, all throughout to the entire end of the day. Whereas, you know, maybe other people might remember like 1 or 2 moments here and there. I have a lot of days of my life where I can literally remember every single fucking thing I did, and it's all vivid and it's all like there. So I have a lot of, I guess, personal stories to pull from. I love telling funny stories about my life. I feel like even at 30 that I've lived like 50 different lives based on some of the wild shit that I've done. You know, various things I did in my teens versus childhood versus like my early 20s. Just, I've done a lot of shit. And as an adult that's kind of like slow, like moving through life at like a slower pace, I feel like a lot of those stories I want to get out. I want to base certain things that I write on, certain things that I write about on those stories, just kind of get them out. That's kind of how I set up NaNoWrimo this month. Obviously now being in the booktube community, I had a lot of people who were doing it, a lot of people who are talking about it, and so I sort of made the decision, I think honestly 2 days before NaNoWrimo even started, to go and make a new account. I think I had an account years and years ago, like I said, 8 years ago when I was introduced to it. But I never actually actively tried it. I think I just sat and tried to write like 10,000 words the one time years and years ago, and I never even counted it on the website, so I won't really say I even really attempted it. But this year was the first time that I sat down and really went, okay, this is something I'm actually gonna do. So that brings me to failing NaNoWrimo. I obviously, you know, decided to do it 2 days before, and I understand that there's different subgenres of writers. So there's people who plan, plantsters apparently is what they're called, people who plot, plotters, people who do it spontaneously, which is pantsers, like by the seat of their pants. I definitely went into it seat of my pants. Like I thought, okay, I have a base idea for a story, I have a lot of little things I want to write about, hopefully that fits 50,000 words, and obviously I burnt out around halfway through the month, and that's okay. But I realized through my process of writing 22,000 words is what I ended up finishing with, and I didn't write for the whole second half of the month. I just kind of just stopped. I realized that I am going to have to plan a little bit, and that's really interesting. It's kind of a neat sort of discovery about myself. I always thought that I would be a person who sort of did more seat of their pants writing, like just pulling it out of the air with very little idea of the plot. But I think I'm going to be both person, like next year when I go to do it, I want to do it next year, I'm going to be somebody who has, at the very least, some bit of a plan. Different scenes I want to write, how they correlate together, how the whole thing sort of looks maybe at a glance is the way that I think it's gonna help me next year. You know, within that, I'm not a person who constricts every single scene and how everything is gonna go. That's not how my brain works. I kind of let my characters and my writing just sort of, again, flow out of me. But I had too many ideas this time, and not enough structure to those ideas. And so I think adding in a little bit of structure, a little bit of like what I actually want to talk about and plot, it's going to benefit me when I go to do it next year. Yeah, so that's kind of what I learned, I guess, by doing NaNoWrimo this year. Is that turns out I'm a person that needs a little bit of a plan, a little bit of guidance, self-guidance obviously, in writing my stories, that a full 100,000 word novel is not going to come out of me story-wise A to Z. It's going to be A, Z, 1, 6, 7, 28 different dimension. I jump all around, and I need, if I'm going to jump all around, I need to know what I'm talking about, basically. So yeah, November was rough for me. I typically get depression in the month of November anyway, yearly, it's just a thing. And so, you know, putting on a pressure to myself to do NaNoWrimo definitely, you know, wasn't the best month to do it in. And I honestly think that if NaNoWrimo was in June, I would have got 50,000 words out of me, no problem. You know, not to say it would have been easier by any means, but I think I would have been in a better headspace to do it. November just absolutely sucks the life out of me, and it wasn't NaNoWrimo's fault. It was just a, something that happened that definitely didn't contribute to me doing successfully. November is always just a shit month for me, and I'm hoping by, again, going into next year with a little bit of structure that I'm able to pull myself out of my November slump to, you know, not end up in a NaNoWriMo slump. I do want to show you guys, just real quickly before, you know, just sort of rambling in this video, what I ended up writing on. I got this sucker. This is a Neo 2. It's basically a writing device. It has little files in it, and you can just sort of freeform write. Not a lot of editing takes place, not a lot of spell checking takes place, but it was great for me. I'm able to take this, you know, to work and do it on my break, or to Starbucks and do it there. Sometimes I even wrote on the bus, even though I get pretty much motion sick if I do anything in a vehicle. I was able to sort of like close my eyes and just write, and get words out that way too. Yeah, it really worked for me, just sort of not having a daunting computer screen there really helps. So yeah, this was about 70 bucks on Amazon. I subscribed to Amazon Prime for like a month to get free shipping and it came to me in like 2 days. There's other similar things on the market. There is a, I think it's called like a Traveler, or the other little keyboards are like $700 Canadian. This was 70 bucks and I love it. So just, you know, it's an option for people who want sort of distraction-free writing, because I'm easily distracted by everything. My computer, Twitter, whatever. This was just a way to unplug and get words out. You know, all in all, I think what I learned from this sort of month of trying NaNoWriMo is a lot about myself, just needing to be in a proper headspace to do it, and that I need a little bit of a plan, and I am excited. I'm proud of the words I got down. Will I keep those? Definitely. I think there, you know, there might be a little bit of gold in there. I think everybody when they're writing is like, this is the most absolute garbage shit fire, you know, word vomit ever. But now I get to sort of sit back, go back to that at some point, months from now, it's not going to be now, and see if there's any gold in there. And then that way make a plan for next year and continue on this train and this idea of, you know, what little gold is in this, and build from it. I'm just happy to say I tried NaNoWriMo, I failed, and that's okay. And I learned from it, and I did something. I feel pretty fucking proud of myself for even doing 22,000 words. I would have liked to have made it halfway, didn't have it in me, and that's okay. And so if you also tried NaNoWriMo and failed, let me know what you learned from it. If you did it and you succeeded, just props to you. Good job. Props to you. I'm sure that wasn't easy. And yeah, if you contributed at all to NaNoWriMo, let me know your thoughts down below. How it made you feel, what you learned, anything. Let's talk about it a little bit. Hopefully you guys liked this video. A little bit of a different one, I know, for my channel, but just wanted to sort of vent and, I don't know, talk out a little bit of things about it. Hopefully you guys are all doing good, and until my next one, I will talk to all you soon. Bye!